So, ladies and gentlemen, today in this class, we want to implement a very crucial concept in any programming language there can ever be. So, today we want to work with databases. Today's class, as you can see, most of you guys, when I was inviting you to this class, you saw some kind of terminology there called persistence. Yeah, so what is persistence per se? So it's like when you guys are going to be doing your projects and you are going to be presenting them to maybe a panel. Like for example, in our institution, yeah, when you come, you do your own project. Yeah, you come, you present you pitch your idea, then you take us through your model, you take us through your application, how everything is running from point A to point Z. And assuming someone on the panel asks you, Johnny, how are you persisting your data on your application? So that question will become really critical if you don't know what is persistence. So to persist data is like, how are you ensuring that when I am using your application, then I save some data on my application, then probably log out of my application. When I still come back next time, I get my data on the database or on the application. So persistence in this case, so definitely you just have to tell that guy, oh, I'm using maybe Mysql database to persist my data. Yeah, to persist is the to make it as in, is like you're storing it per se. Yeah, to persist it. Yeah. So how are you persisting my data? Yeah, I'm using MySQL database. Oh, how are you persisting your data? I'm using Sqlite database. In fact, what we are going to learn today is how to persist data using an Sqlite database. So instead of using a terminology like say persistence, let's just say maybe how we are going to save our data on our application using an Sqlite database. Yeah, for example, if I get to my application, then maybe I want to save a number of records, or I'm doing a mobile application for some people to go with it in the field to collect some data. Yeah, maybe just to take the data, people's data, maybe their names, their age, their ID numbers, maybe their maybe driving license numbers, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I simply need to have an application where I can key in all that data, then just click on save, so that now, yeah, the data is definitely going to be stored on a database behind there. And so in this class, we're going to use an Sqlite database. An Sqlite database. This gentleman right here is, Sqlite database. So what is the difference between an Sqlite database and a MySQL database? So a MySQL database, which if need be, we will look at it in this class, is always going to ask us to at least have a server, maybe a server to reach our database. But for an Sqlite database, we are simply going to create a database on our phone. Yeah, a simple database on our phone, which we will not even require maybe the XAMPP server, or no, we will not require any of those things. Yeah, we will simply require to have our phone, write one line of a code to create a database. Then, yeah, we take the data from the user the normal way we've been getting data from the user using the edit text. Yeah, getting that text, then just store it directly into the database, into the Sqlite database. Yeah, using an Sqlite database class. So yeah, even Kotlin also has got a class. So we did classes. There is a class in Kotlin. It is an inbuilt class that will enable us create an Sqlite database. It will also even enable us to select all the data that is inside the database and display it to the user. And you guys are going to look at the normal queries that we are used to: select stuff from, maybe delete from, or maybe update these, blah, 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 set these to the, as in the normal SQL queries. The normal SQL queries that we were doing previously in our classes when we were working with PHP. Those are the very, very queries that we are going to use, but now in Android. Yeah. So right away, without wasting any time, guys, let's just start right away. So let's click on Start a New Android Studio Project. Then right away, yeah, I'm not going to waste any time on maybe trying to use any of these layouts right here. Let me simply use an empty activity. Then yeah, I can just call this as my Sqlite database app. Yeah, my Sqlite database app. Yeah, language is Kotlin. So hit on a finish. All right, so yeah, guys, here we are. So right away, I'm not going to be using the test files. Let me just do away with them. So, but if you leave them there, nothing is going to happen. So yeah, let me just do away with them. All right, so I have my main activity right here. So on the activity main, ladies and gentlemen, let me just go and drag and drop, like say maybe how many edit texts this time. Let's just work with 3. Maybe we just want to save the name, the email address, and maybe the ID number of a user. Yeah, we simply want to save the name, email address, and the ID number. Simple. We are not going to complicate our lives. Yeah, so right away, let me just show the layout decorations right here, so that yeah, show layout decorations right up here, so that it looks like an Android app screen. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm expecting to be good. So ladies and gentlemen, let me just use the simple linear layout. Yeah, I'm not going to complicate myself. So let me just switch these to this other side, use a linear layout. Yeah, these are the things we've done in our previous classes, so they should be easy by now. Let me just change the layout to linear layout. Linear layout. Then orientation vertical. Yeah, let me just use orientation vertical. Then guys, I really am not going to be using this text view for now. Yeah, I'm not going to use this text view. But at least let me just go and drag and drop the edit texts. So let me just drag and drop the edit text. So let me search for an edit text. So edit text. So for the name, I just want to drag and drop the one for the name. Let me use the plain text. So for the name, let me just drag and drop the plain text. Yeah, so that right away, let me give it an ID as MEDT name. Yeah, maybe my edit text name. Then instead of using the text as name, let me remove the text and place the hint. Where is the hint? Hint here. Here is the hint. So I can say maybe enter name. Enter name. Yeah, so the first edit text, I've already given it an ID, MEDT name, then enter name. So the second edit text, so let me also again search for the edit text for the email. It's right here. So the edit text for the email, let me just drag and drop it right here. What is happening with this one here? Let me drag and drop it here. Let me see if it works. It's behaving. It's good, guys. Then let me give it an ID as MEDT mail. Maybe that's the ID, MEDT mail. Then the hint is enter email. Enter email. That is the hint, is enter email. Then I can drag and drop the edit text for the ID number. So edit text of type number, edit text of type number here. The edit text of type number just right there. Yeah, then I can give it an ID as MEDT ID number. Yeah, MEDT ID number. Yeah, maybe MEDT ID number. Yeah, let me just say MEDT text ID number. Then the hint, I can have something like say enter ID number. Yeah, enter ID number. Yeah, enter ID number. So yeah, enter name, enter email, enter ID number. Then right away, I can drag and drop to like say how many buttons. This time in this class, let's just work with 3. So I just want to implement the saving. I just want to implement the viewing and the deleting Yeah. So once we implement the deleting, you guys will know how to implement the updating, which is really straightforward, guys. So let's start with dragging and dropping the button, which someone will click and say maybe save. Yeah, so this button here, let me give it an ID as mbtn save. That is maybe the button when someone will click to save. Then the text on that button should be maybe save. Yeah, save. So when someone will enter the name, the email, and the ID number, they will simply click on save. So I can drag and drop the second button for viewing. Maybe after you've saved, you might want to view. All right, yeah, it's right here. So let me give it an ID as mbtn view. Yeah, maybe, yeah, that's the ID, mbtn view. Then right away, let me just give it some text as view as view. Then right away, I can drag and drop the last button for deleting there. Yeah, then I can give it an ID as mbtn delete, and then the text that is on this button is maybe delete. Yeah, delete. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we have these buttons right there, dragged and dropped. And so we are good to proceed now. We are good to proceed. All right, so yeah, so guys, yeah, at least we've now set up our interface. So right away, let's now proceed. Let's proceed to the other side. Let's actually proceed to the other side to ensure that when someone clicks on a button save, we have set a listener on button save. When someone clicks on button view, we have set a listener on button view. When someone clicks on button delete, we have set a listener on button delete so that we can delete a specific record. Yeah. So right away, let's just proceed to our main activity.kotlin file so that we can set a few things right here, guys. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the way we want to do our project, we want to ensure that we have a little bit more advanced way of displaying errors and warnings. And probably if someone is going to try to click on save without entering any data, on the edit text for name, we need to display a message and say, please fill in all the inputs. So we want to have a fancier way of displaying those messages in the system. So let's just do a function that will be helping us to display the messages using a dialog, an alert dialog. I know we have done an alert dialog in our previous class, so it should be a straightforward one in this class. Yeah. So like right now, so where do we do our function? As you can see, we have an override function on create function. As you can see, it's on create functions. A function has got the brackets there. So our function starts from here and it ends here. So that means the next function needs to be outside. No function is supposed to be inside another function. So let's just declare a private function. And then maybe this function we can just call it as display message function. Yeah, maybe this is the function that we are going to be using to display the message. Then definitely we will require to have a message title as a property there, which is going to be a string kind of a type string. Then we will after the title, we can also now have the message itself. We can have the message itself, which is also going to be a string. Which is going to be as so right away we're going to have a variable alert dialog builder. Yeah, then equals to builder of class of context these. Yeah, so we are going to have a context these, not these. Yeah, this is the context. on which we are going to pop the alert. Then we can say now our builder.set cancelable false, our builder alert dialog dot set cancelable to a false. So no one is supposed to cancel that unless they click on an OK or such like a thing. Then our alert dialog again dot set title, alert dialog dot set title. Then the title will be whatever this title is going to say, this one here. So set our title to title. Then alert dialog dot set message. The message will be whatever this message is going to be, this one here, whatever that message is going to be. Yeah. So set message. Then yeah. So alert dialog dot set positive button. Set positive button. So positive button will just be OK. Yeah. When the message pops up, you simply click on an OK. Then that's it. Then we can set an on-click listener. On-click listener. This one here. An on-click listener. Then yeah. That is quite okay. Then when someone clicks on an OK, we are doing nothing. When someone clicks on OK, we just dismiss. So simply say dialog.dismiss. Dialog.dismiss. And then again, we can simply say now alert dialog.create.show. .create.show. Yeah, this is what we did in our previous class. So yeah, it is exactly like that. Yeah. So alert dialog.create.show. Simple display message. Yeah, the display. So we have already defined the display message function. Yeah, at least in our system now, whenever we want to display a message or a warning, we simply use the display message function, which we have already defined. Now, let me ask you guys, when someone is going to be saving data, and they save the data successfully into the database, you see, you need to clear the fields to allow the user to save another record. Yeah, because if I have entered the name as maybe King, email is at king@gmail, then maybe the ID number is 1. Then I click on save. Then the data goes into the database successfully. What I need to do is I need to clear this field so that I can save the next person. Yeah. So to do that, let's also just do our custom message, our custom function right here, which is going to be clearing our fields. So private. I hope you guys are not wondering why I'm doing it here, because the display function here, it starts here and it ends here. So the next one needs to go outside it. No wonder I'm starting to do it there. Yeah. So private function, maybe we can even just call it clear function. So whenever clear function. So whatever the clear function is going to do, it's simply going to say what are our edit texts. So the first edit text has got an ID. MEDT name. The second one is yeah, so yeah, you can even comment out and say, yeah, these are functions to clear the input fields once the intended request is successful. Then also this one, you can even comment and say, these are functions to display the message. So whenever we are clearing, so no wonder I was telling you guys, what do we want to clear? We want to clear these edit texts because those are the ones that we are supposed to type on the next person. So this first edit text has got an ID, MEDT name. This second one has got an ID, MEDT email. Then the third one has got an ID, MEDT ID number. So we need to clear them. So right away, to clear them, you use a certain function called set text. So we are just going for the first one is MEDT name. Yeah, MEDT name dot set text. Where is this set text? Yeah, set text to nothing. Yeah, you simply say set text to nothing, as in nothing means, as in if we set it to this, that means it is just, yeah, just single quotation marks without anything. Yeah, it's like we have cleared. it's like we have already cleared. So set text to nothing. Then also edt mail, edt mail, yeah, dot set text, set text to nothing. Then the third one is edt id number dot set text. Yeah, whenever we want to clear, just set the text to nothing. As in on that input, just set the text to nothing. So our function clear will simply be setting the text to nothing. So that means they will leave the fields empty, so you can now start typing a new record. Yeah. So at least as far as we are concerned, guys, as far as we are concerned, everything is working. Everything is working okay. Now, apart from just setting up the clearing method and the error or the message display function, you see when someone is going to be entering, like say name, email, ID, then click on a save. The very next thing that we are supposed to do is to set an on-click listener on the button save, so that when we take that data, we simply save it into the database. But the question is, have you even created that database itself? So the very next thing, guys, let's just go on our on create function, like this up, just the very next line on the on. This on create function is the one that runs whenever the app is being launched. So right away, let's just start by creating a database. In fact, let's just say create your database. Let's create a database, whichever way you're going to comment here. So how do you create a database? So to create a database, you can simply say now, maybe var database, or in fact, instead of calling it in full database, let's just call it var db, which is an Sqlite database. Yeah, Sqlite database.
Wanyama?
Yes. So
Just I mean.
All right, yeah. So yeah, to create a database, let's just say maybe variable db, which is an instance of an Sqlite database, equals to open or create database. Open or create database. So what is the name of the database that we need to create, guys? So the name of the database, maybe we are creating a database for maybe registrations office, maybe registrations. Yeah, maybe registrations. Maybe that's the database name. Then what is the mode? The mode of creating the database is going to be a private. Why are we calling this mode to be private? Is because whatever is going to be happening on this database of ours, it will not affect your entire phone. Like your mobile phone will not crash because you have created an extra database on the phone. Yeah, so the mode is just going to be private. No wonder we are going not to attach it to the root. Yeah, so just finish by typing there a null after the comma. Yeah, so that it's just going to appear like that. So if you try to attach it to the factory, no, we are not going to attach this database to the factory or the settings of the phone. So just say no. Yeah, so we are going to open or create a database called registration. So if the database is there, we will open it. If it is not there, we create it. Yeah, our database called registrations. So once we've done that, let's create a table inside our, let's say now create a table inside the database. Yeah. Database. So create a table inside the database. So we can now say our DB, which we have already declared up there, dot DB dot execute SQL. Exec SQL. Then we can simply say what is the SQL is create table if not exists. Create table if not exists. Then what is the table name? The table name, we can even call our table name as users. Yeah, the table name is users. Then inside the users table, we can have the columns. Maybe the first column for the name, we can even call it as Gina of type varchar, comma. The second one is maybe Arafa for the email, then of type varchar. Then what else? Maybe for the ID number, we can even just call it as kitambulisho. Kitambulisho of type varchar. Yeah. So this line of a code, most students get problems when they are typing it. So guys, let me just take it and put it in the chat section. If you can't type that, let me put it on the chat section right away. Our chat section is right here. So let me just put it right there. Yeah, so if you can't type it, copy it there from the chat section. So our db.exec SQL, create table if not exists. So the table is called users. Then the columns are Gina of type varchar, Arafa of type varchar or variable character, then kitambulisho of type varchar. Yeah, just like that. Just like that, guys. Yeah, if you can type it, fine. If you can't, just copy from there.
Excuse.
Just a minute then. Yeah, so yeah, this is how to create the table in an Sqlite database. And as you can see, it's the normal query we are used to, create table. Yeah. Then right away, so the very next thing that we are supposed to do, if we have created a database, we have created a table, so we need to set an on-click listener on the button save so that we can now save the data into this database. So we can even just say now, create, set an on-click, set a listener on your button save to implement the saving. So I can simply say maybe mbtn save dot set on click listener. Yeah, mbtn save dot set on click listener. Yeah, like that. Then before we save, we need to receive the data that we are supposed to save. So we can say receive data from the user. So how do we receive the data from the user? We can say now var name equals to medt name. Then we get the text, then to string, the normal way. We get the data from the user, text, then to string. Perfect. Then var email equals to var email equals to medt mail dot get text, not like get text, dot text dot to string. Yeah. Then var id underscore number equals to id underscore number equals to medt id number dot text dot to string. So right away, guys, yeah. So the very next thing that we are supposed to do is, after we've received the data, yeah, up to here we have already received the data. Let's check if the data, if whatever the user is trying to give us is empty or not. So yeah, we can even just comment and say check if the user is trying to submit empty records. Yeah, so we can say if, sorry for that, guys. If, sorry, what happened? I'm sorry, I clicked on something that I really, yeah, if Yeah, if name dot is empty or email dot is empty or ID number dot is empty. So what do we do inside here? Display a message telling the user to fill all the inputs. In fact, we can say use the message display function. Use the message display function to display. Yeah, use message display. You remember we have created our message display function down there. This display function. It's called display message, not message display. This display message function. Yeah, use it. So write down here if all those are empty, so we can just call our display message function. Message function. Then at the first one, we are actually expected to put the title, then the message. So the title is maybe empty fields. Then comma, the message is please fill all the inputs. Please fill all the inputs. Yeah, that is the message display. Please fill all the inputs. And remember, these faded-ish title stuffs need to auto-complete by themselves. On the display message, don't try to type this title thing, this title kind of a thing. It needs to come there automatically. If it doesn't come, all right, fine. It's okay. You can just leave it as it is. But meanwhile, don't type this title thing and this message kind of a thing. It needs to come automatically. Yeah. All right. So we are checking an if statement. So yeah, check if the user is trying to submit empty record. So if name.isEmpty or email.isEmpty or ID number.isEmpty, then just say empty fields, or in fact empty fields. Please fill all the inputs. Else proceed to save. Yeah, else proceed to save your data into the DB. Yeah, so right away we can now say our db.exec SQL. Then the kind of saving that we are going to save is, we are going to do it like this, guys. We are simply going to say we are going to say insert into the table is called, what is the name of our table? The table is called users. Yeah, so insert into users. But don't worry, if you can't type this, I'm going to put it on the chat section. Insert into, our table is called users. Insert into users. Then insert into users. Then the values are, these are the values. So at our first column is Gina. We are supposed to put the name that we have fetched from the user. So the first column is Gina, so we can put there this is how to do it: single quotation marks, double quotation marks, then double additional signs, then we can put their name. So name, yeah, that's good. Then a comma. I actually need to delete one of these quotation marks right there. Yeah, comma. Then again, single quotation marks. Then double quotation marks. Need to delete one, double quotation marks. I now have to delete one, then double equal signs. Then this is supposed to be for the email. Then after that, a comma again, then single quotation marks again, double quotation marks again. Then yeah, I now have to remove one because they are coming to be 3. Then right away, double equal signs. Then this is going to be the ID number. ID number. ID number is going to be the ID number right there. So guys, if you guys can't type that, let me just take these and put it on the chat section. Let me take these. Yeah, insert into users. The values are the name, the email, and the ID number. Yeah. So let me just copy these and put it on the chat section, guys, so that it is easier. It is easier for you people to grasp. Yeah. So where is it? Where is the chat section? It's right here. So let me. Yeah. So that's db.exec SQL. No, have I? Oh no, actually, db.exec insert into users. The values are those. Yeah, actually, I put it in the chat section. So yeah, if you have your chat section, you can just copy that directly from there. Then right away, ladies and gentlemen, after we do this has inserted. So right away, let's just display the message and say the record has been saved successfully. Yeah. So right away, we can simply display the message and say display message and say maybe we can just say success. The title is success. Then we can simply say record. I'm a user saved successfully. User saved successfully. Yeah, user saved successfully. Then once we save the user successfully, what next? What next? Let's clear the inputs. Let's clear the inputs for the next person to be entered. And remember the clear inputs, we already have a function to clear. Yeah. So let's just call the clear function there. That's it. Yeah, we simply call the clear function. Period. Period. Does it for saving, guys. Does it for saving. So we insert the data, show the message of the success, then just clear. Clear the inputs for the user to save the next person. Yeah, the next person. All right, yeah. So that's it for the saving. So I'm very sure if we run this application, it's going to work. So the very next thing is probably once we save the records, the user is going to be clicking on the button view to see if the record has been saved or not. Yeah, probably just click on view to see. So to view, let's also set an on-click listener on the button view. So right away, our mbtn save.set on-click listener is right here. Where is it starting? It's starting here. Where is it ending? It is ending down here. So right after that is where I need to set another listener for the mbtn view. So I can even just say maybe set a listener on button view. Yeah, maybe set a listener on button view to see the saved records. Yeah, so right away I can say now mbtn view dot set on click listener. Yeah, set on click listener. Yeah, I've actually set the on click listener on mbtn view. So for you to display the data, into the that has been sent into the database, first and foremost, you need to select the data. Yeah, in fact, let's say we need to select the data. So in Sqlite or even in Kotlin and even in Java, when you're selecting the Sqlite, when you're selecting data from the Sqlite database, you use something called a cursor. Yeah, so you don't really need to worry about a cursor. A cursor is it's a certain Java class in Kotlin that does the selection, as in that can help us select the data from an SQLite database. So whenever you hear a cursor, just know, yeah, that's what it's going to do. So let's even say use a cursor to select data from the DB. So right away, I can say now my var cursor var cursor equals to db.raw query, db.raw query. So let me say db.raw query. I need to have a raw query. Is it in small? db.raw query, yeah, that way. db.raw query. So if you can't get this right, again, I'm going to put it on the chat section. So db.raw query, then I can simply say select stuff from users. So select star from users table. Yeah, select stuff from users. Then the selection arguments, we don't have any, so selection arguments is null. Now, yeah, now, yeah, select star from users. Yeah, so right away, let me just give it to you guys. Select star from select star. Yeah, db.raw query select star from users. Yeah, select star from users. Select star from users. Let me take these and put on the chat section so you guys can get it. Select star from users. It's here. Select star var cursor equals to db.raw query select star from users. Yeah, that way. Select star from users, then yeah, definitely it's going to be now. Yeah, then there. Select star from users. Yeah, so that now right away after we select star, we need to check if there is any record in the DB. Check if there is any record in the DB. Yeah, check if there is any record. So we say if cursor.count, if we count the cursor, yeah, if cursor.count equals to 0. That means if the count is 0, that means there is no data. We can even just display the message. So use the display message function. Use the display message function to alert the user, to tell the user there are no records in the DB. So let's just do it right away. Display message. So if the count is 0, display the message and say the title could be no records. Then right away the message is sorry, no records were found. Sorry, no records were found. No records were found. Yeah, sorry, no records were found. Yeah, sorry, no records were found. Yeah, if cursor.count equals to 0, like that. Else if there was some data, else means we found data. So that means use the buffer. So also in Kotlin we have another class apart from the cursor going to select the data for us to display the data. We have something called a buffer. Yeah. So a buffer a buffer can go, can take the data that is coming from the database. You know, when the data is coming from the database is an array, So a buffer has got the capability of taking the array, convert it into a string, and just display it to the user. Unlike ourselves getting the data, looping the data ourselves, all that job has already been done. And so the buffer, there's this something called a buffer. So whenever you have the buffer, all your problems are solved. So no wonder we are saying use the buffer to display or to append. In fact, to display the records. To display the record. So right away, we can simply say now our var buffer equals to string buffer. Here we are actually going to use string buffer equals to, this is a string buffer. Yeah, var buffer equals to a string buffer. So let me give it a class string buffer, because it could be asking for me for this class string buffer. No, it is not even a must for me to do that. So var buffer equals to string buffer function. Yeah, that's all that I was missing. Equals to string buffer function. Yeah. So var buffer equals to string buffer function. Yeah. So to get the data, we are also going to use a while loop to now loop through that data. So we say while cursor, so the cursor is the one that is carrying our data. This cursor, as you can see, our cursor has selected all the data from the database. So while the cursor dot move to next, this is how to go to loop through the data. While cursor dot move to next. While cursor dot move to next. That's how to be moving from the first one to next until you get to the end. Yeah. While cursor dot move to next. Yeah. So we can simply say now our buffer, this string buffer dot add. So we are, or dot append buffer dot append. So so buffer dot append. So cursor dot get string at position 0. Cursor. So cursor dot get string cursor dot get string at position 0. Now let me explain to you guys. In fact, let me go up to position 2. So buffer dot get string at position 0. Then I've just duplicated that and I changed this position 1, position 2. Now let me tell you guys what this is. Yeah. So when I get the string at position 0, this position is, as you can see, it is the column index. So the column index of position 0 is the column name. In fact, the column name is our column called, where is it? Column Gina. So at column Gina, remember we have saved there the name. So when we get the cursor dot get string at position at column 0, so it's like we are getting the name. At position 1, we get that one. At position 2, we get this one, the ID numbers. So clearly, it's like we are getting all the name, the email, and the name, the email, and the ID number at a go, for as long as we are looping through, while cursor dot move to next. So start from the first one as you go, and by the time you are going through that data, what I want you to do is just be getting the strings at position 0, 1, and 2. Then go to the next one, 0, 1, 2. Go to the next one, 0, 1, 2. Go to the next one, 0, 1. So it is going to select all the data that is into the database. And the only thing that remains to us is now to display that data, to display the data. So to display, and you see, if we want it to have a certain kind of an order, you see, this is just going to get name, then after the name is going to display the email, after the email is going to display the ID number, no particular order. So we can even just say column 0, then we can actually concatenate here a space, maybe just a space. So we can even just concatenate and just put a space, or we can even put a new line. \n means it will display the name, go to the new line. Again, we can also append here. We can also append here \n, go to the new line again. So I can also append concatenate here \n to the last one. So that it will display the name, go to the new line, display the email, go to the new line, display the email, the ID number, Then go back again to the so it will move to the next again, get to the next record, move to the next, get to the next record, move to next, get the next record, until it has gotten all the records, and I'll be displaying them in this order. In fact, whenever I display this last one, let me add another new line so that we can have a wider space after the first record, a wider space after the second record, a wider space after the third record, like that. So that now it is now upon us to display that data after the while loop. So the while loop starts here and ends here. So after we've gotten all the records, let's now use our message display function. Use the display message function, to show the records to the user, So we can just say maybe display message. Then we can say maybe these are database records, or we can just say these are the users. Then the users are, so we show maybe buffer dot to string, this buffer of ourselves. So the buffer is the one that is wait, Jadida. Resume. So clearly, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have, so when someone is going to be clicking on button view, we have set the on click listener. So first of all, use the cursor to select the data from the DB, So so our cursor is, we select the data, select all from users. Then we check if there is any record. So if the cursor.count equals to 0, then just say no record, and say, sorry, no records were found. Then else, that means we've found the data. So use the buffer to display or to append. Actually, the right term is to append, because it will be taking it, get it to the buffer. Take it, get it to the buffer. Cursor inachukua, take it to the, it is appending it to the buffer. So that sisi finally tutaingia tu kwa buffer na to print as a string. Ndio maana tumeprint to buffer as a string. Juu data yote iko huko ndani ya hiyo buffer. All the data is inside the buffer. So we can even simply say, use the buffer to append the records. Then we display it as a string. The buffer, that is the importance of the buffer. For as long as we have the data inside the buffer, we can straightforwardly just print it as a string without doing any conversions or without bothering if the data is in which order. We can just print it as a string like that. Now, so clearly on our application, at least someone can save the data, someone can view the data. So finally, what we are supposed to implement is someone needs to now be able to delete the data from the database. Someone needs to be able to delete the data from the database. Now, so whenever someone is going to be hitting on button delete, the very next thing that we are supposed to do is to set a listener on mbtn delete, so that which is our button definitely, so that when someone clicks on the button delete, we can implement the deletion. So right away, let's proceed and go set our on click listener. So the listener for mbtn view starts here. It starts here. Where does it end? It ends down here. So after that is where we set the listener for the button delete. So we can even just say set a listener to our button delete to implement the deletion. To implement the implement to implement the deletion. So right away, let me just say our mbtn delete dot set on click listener dot set on click listener. Yeah, mbtn delete dot set on click listener. mbtn delete dot set on click listener. Then right away, ladies and gentlemen, so we need, you see, when someone is going to be deleting a record, we need to have a unique key to delete with. So in this case, we are going to use the ID. We are going to use the ID to delete. So we are going to ask someone to give us the ID. Yeah. So that means before someone clicks on delete, they need to type in a certain number on this ID input field. So if I type there, if I saved the first person as king, then I gave king ID 123. So by the time I want to delete king, I have to come and key in 123, then click on delete. When I click on delete, the system will go look for a person that has got an ID 123. Then just do by delete that person, then display a message and say deletion was successful. Yeah. So right away, let's go and also try to get the ID from the user. So var ID number equals to, so medt ID number, then we get the text, not like get tag, so dot text, then dot to string. Yeah, to string. So let's check. Yeah, in fact, I didn't even comment here. Let me comment and say get the ID from the user. Yeah, so I've gotten the ID from the user. So right away, all right, yeah. So get the ID from the user, then right away, so check if the user is trying to click delete button with an empty ID field. Yeah, with an empty ID field. We don't want the user to click on delete if they haven't given us any ID. So, so right away we can say now if ID number dot is empty, if the ID number dot is empty, if it is empty, yeah, we can just we can use our display message function to display the message and tell the user enter or fill in the ID field. So we can just use the display message and say maybe empty field. Then we can say the message is please fill the ID ID input. Yeah. Please fill the please fill the ID input field. Yeah, such like a thing, input field. Yeah, else, that means the person has given us the ID. So else, if someone has given us the ID, what happens? Else, if someone has already given us the ID, what happens? If someone has given us the ID, so we need to proceed and delete. Yeah, just proceed to delete. Or let's start by saying use the cursor to select the user with the given ID. So we need to select that specific user with an ID that the user has given us. Yeah. Yeah, we need to select that. So we need to say now, var cursor equals to db.raw query dot raw query. Yeah, raw query. Then we say select star from users where. So if you are not so sure of how to type this, I'm going to share this on the chat section, so don't worry. So select star from users where a column called kitambulisho. Did we call that column as kitambulisho? Let me just check out up here. Our column is called, yes, kitambulisho. Let me then just copy it so that I don't make mistakes. So where kitambulisho equals to, yeah, where kitambulisho equals to, I can start with a single quotation marks. Then inside here, I can have double quotation marks. Then, yeah, definitely have to remove this one here. Then double additional signs. Then I can say where, oh my goodness. No, you didn't have to remove that, guys. Sorry. Yeah. I had to remove these. Yeah, buddy. Then, yeah, double addition signs inside there. Are you guys for real? Are you kidding me? Then inside there, let me see if it is ID number. Yeah, that's good now. Yeah, that's good now. It was quite confusing for me there, but yeah, I'm good. So select stuff from users where kitambulisho equals to ID. Yeah, where kitambulisho equals to ID. Then the selection arguments are now. Yeah, I don't have any selection arguments. Yeah, I don't have any selection arguments right there. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so guys, if you can't type this, let me just give it to you. I know it can become quite tricky to some. Yeah, so let me just give it to you on the chat section. Yeah, someone is asking, what if it does not exist into the database? That's a really good question. So yeah, in this case, we are just assuming you can also do this part here, where you can count if the record is available into the database or not. Yeah, which we can do. In fact, you guys can do that. Try to do the count and say if count this cursor. Yeah, in fact, we can do it. So let's check if the record is available in the database. Yeah, that's really good. So we can say if cursor dot count, if you count this cursor and you get that the record is not zero, is zero, so we say no such like user in the database. Yeah, so we can even just display the message and say, maybe no record, and say the message is sorry, there is no user with that ID in the database. Yeah, maybe there's no user with such kind of an ID. There's no user with that ID in the database. Then else that means we have found the user, so we can proceed to delete. Yeah, that was a really good question. So we could implement it like that. Yeah. So check if the user is available into the database. So if the cursor.count is 0, say, sorry, there is no user with that ID in the database. Else, we implement the deletion. Yeah. So, so that to delete, we can simply say, now finally delete. We can say else finally delete the record. So we can say, so db.exec SQL, exec SQL. So delete from users where kitambulisho equals to that. So we can say exec SQL. In fact, I can just use these this one here. Delete where. Let me copy that here. So guys, don't worry, I'm going to give you this code. So I can say delete from users. So delete from users. Yeah, delete from users where kitambulisho equals to that. So guys, yeah, that's all that I wanted. I didn't want to retype this thing. So let me just give let me give you guys this kind of a code on the chat section. Let me give it to you on the chat section. Yeah, so let me give it to you on the chat section like that. Yeah, so delete db.exec SQL. Yeah, exec SQL. Yeah. Delete from users where kitambulisho equals to the ID number. Yeah. Then finally, what do? So we display a message saying the deletion was successful. So let's display the message and say, yeah, the deletion was successful. Display message. So display message and say success. Then the message is the user was deleted successfully. The user was deleted successfully. Then once we delete that user, we need to clear the fields. We need to clear the field so that we can enter another ID, probably to delete another person. So we simply need to call the clear method. We simply need to call the clear method right there so that we clear the fields once again. Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, let's just try to run this application and see how it works. Let's simply try to run this application and see how it works.